All right, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Just give me a moment. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Baharach HaKodash. I would like to give double honors to my elders and apostles, a great millstone that do well. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect, and the 1/3. And Lord's will, this video will be edifying and exhorting to the sincere sheep of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Baharach HaKodash. All right, and as the title reads, double shame is upon her. All right, just want to make sure the audio and video is good. So now that I know it is, I will take myself off the screen. Okay, and as the title reads, I said, double shame is upon her. Okay, and Tawadi al-Bashim Shai for giving me the inspiration to do this lesson. And let's go here. And I found an article, all right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. And I want to touch on this because I found this to be very beautiful. Okay, I found this to be very beautiful. All right, especially with the times that we are in. Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Shai, Bashim Kakadash Brakata. All right, and as it reads, if you are calling out Russia's war crimes but ignoring the West, you're part of the problem. Now, it's referring to the West, all right, the Western Hemisphere, but in the scriptures, it's also referred to as the land of the North, all right, being what? North America. And North America is in the Western Hemisphere, okay? So right now, you have a smear campaign going on, which really, let's actually get that real quick, which really, these are just rumors that are being used, okay, to usher in the third woe, which that is also prophecy. So real quick, let's get that. These the smear campaign, which is upon Gog, all right, i.e. Russia, is nothing more than rumors. But what these rumors are going to do is ultimately lead to the third woe, because it says the third woe cometh quickly. Okay, so real quick, this is Matthew 24:6. You can start at 3. They asked, what shall be the signs of thy coming? So all this double shame upon her is a part of prophecy. Okay, smear campaign, rumors. This is all good news. This is all prophecy. All right, but what we're going to focus on through the spirit in this lesson is the finger pointing. All right, the 3 back at you, like the old famous saying goes, point one finger at me, 3 are pointed back at you. What's that? What? That's double the fingers being pointed. So very spiritual. Real quick, Matthew 24:3. And as he, Yahushai, sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world and the end of an age and the end of Esau's rulership? Real quick, jumping down, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And this is why you're seeing right now all this propaganda against Russia, because this is a part of rumors. And when you go into the the NLT version, that word rumors means threats. Okay, so they're threatening Russia. They're threatening each other and calling out war crimes and making all these statements. But Yahweh Bashim Shai is causing a opposition, okay, because Babylon has been able to, be the spearhead of propaganda for all these other nations for years, okay? For all these other nations, they can say this, they can say that, and no one really has been able to speak out against Babylon until lately, and that's who? Russia, okay, and these other countries. So I'm not really going to start up the top. It's kind of just going in. I did find this number spiritual, but outside of that, there's not really nothing it's saying that we already haven't heard. But I will jump down to about here real quick. So check this out. It says last month, President Joe Biden called Putin a war criminal. How funny. Okay. How funny. Let's put that saying in let's put it point one finger at me. 3 are pointed back at you. 3 are pointed back. Let's just see. Let's see what pulls up. It says, maybe you know the saying, when you point one finger, there are 3 fingers pointing back to you. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. They got Yahushai in here. It says Yahushai this is a spirit. I had no idea. This is the Holy Spirit. Yahushai had a version of this wisdom when he said, don't focus on the speck in your brother's eye while ignoring the log in your own eye. Right. It says, don't focus on the beam or the mote in your brother's eye, but the beam in your own eye. Wow. So that's very spiritual, because Yahushua did speak on that. So like we use that, before we start getting on, a brother that may be, needing work or this or that, we also think about ourselves, how we're not perfect. So Babylon should take this same proverb, this wisdom, and apply it to themselves. Before you, Babylon, start talking about war criminals, you need to think about yourself. And that's exactly what this lesson is going into, and this article. So call all y'all Bashim Shai. What a beautiful time to be alive. All this, how we feel about this place and what we go through in this place. Look at how the Lord is fighting for us. Look at how he's stirring these things up, and everything is being said what through the Spirit the prophets have been saying. All right. And it says, and as pointed out above, this is correct. But if Biden were truly interested in accountability for war criminals, he would turn himself in to the International Criminal Court, right? The ICC, the International Criminal Court, which they have jurisdiction throughout the world. This is why you've seen in the past war crimes on the Temanites and supposedly what they've done in World War II, and they're still being held accountable to this day, things like that. But there's never any talk about what Babylon has done in war and how they should answer to the International Criminal Court. But now this is what they're saying. Well, Biden should turn himself in. And it says for immediate prosecution. But Biden is not interested in accountability, and the U.S., just like Russia, does not recognize the jurisdiction of the ICC. This is because justice is not the point. Demonization of Russia and out political enemies is the point. See, the propaganda behind the well-deserved demonization of Russia is so thick that it has blinded the West from seeing the very well-documented war crimes committed by their own governments. Woo! And we know it. Now, they go more into what they've done to the nations, but what our job is through the Spirit is to bring it out on a biblical aspect, which you also have to mention the war crimes that you've done and are doing to the Most High's people, the true children of Israel. And where we majority being held as prisoners of war is here in Babylon. Okay, so real quick, let's get that in Habakkuk though, because what this is doing is adding shame upon you, and it's going to be double shame upon you. Okay, so Babylon is the last people to be talking about anything pertaining to war crimes, and this is beautiful that this angle is being pushed on the forefront, because it should be. Okay, when you want to speak about justice or injustice and judgment, for the crimes that have been taking place, then it starts in Babylon. Okay, but see, Babylon has the spirit to point out you first. But going back, when you want to point first, the old saying goes, there's three pointed back at you. And like they add, Yahushua said, don't focus on the speck or the mote in your brother's eye while ignoring the log, or we know in the KJV, the beam in your own eye. So Babylon has its own issues that it needs to be talking about or addressed, but it won't, because Satan has been transformed into an angel of light, and they're the father of lies. So they're not going to be talking about what needs to be addressed. This is why the Lord has raised up prophets where in Babylon, and all they are doing is talking about the wickedness of Babylon. Habakkuk 2:16, thou art filled with shame for glory. Okay, now you are filled with shame that you used to glorify in. At one point in time, your 1776, your 1492s, your declaration of your so-called independence, where all men were created equal, while you had the Israelites enslaved under you. You see? So look at this. Shame means shame, disgrace, dishonor. Oh, look at this. Ignominy. Let's look this up, actually. Let's look this up. Let's copy that. Go here. Put this in. Let's see what this means. What's this? What is this? All right. Ignominy means public shame. See, if I'm pronouncing this right, let's see real quick. Bear with me.
Ignominy.
Yep. Okay. Ignominy. All right. So what the prophets are doing is they're prophesizing your ignominy okay, on a public level. So you are publicly being shamed for what you're doing, okay? You are publicly being shamed for what you are doing. And you sit here and call these other nations war criminals, and how, it's so beautiful, man. It's so beautiful to see this happening right now. Look, reproach, okay? Oh, look, confusion, Babylon's shameful confusion. We haven't even started touching on, the on the ground level of things, but let's just keep going. It says, and drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. So how can you sit here and talk about the war criminals and war crimes and the innocent people of Ukraine when you have the poverty level at an all-time high? Your average American citizen is struggling while working every day to continue to keep this beast as a well-oiled machine, but they come home to an empty house or apartment that's stacked 3 times it should be, just muzzled into cages. There's so much to speak about Babylon, but they still have this proud spirit to say, but look what they've done. And that's the spirit Esau comes in. Like, when you ever notice when you bring out the slavery, they say, well, everybody was in slavery. They never take ownership. That's the problem with Babylon and Esau. They never take ownership for what they've done, and they always like to point the finger at someone else. But as the old saying goes, when you point one finger, 3 are pointed back at you. All right, so let's just keep going. Let's jump down. And we got that one. Now look at this. Let's jump down right around here. It says, if the west, all right, or if the north, the land of the north, or if Babylon were truly concerned about war criminals, we would have already arrested Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, which Donald Trump, I believe Iran issued an arrest warrant for him. Let's look that up real quick. Iran issues, let's put warrant. What's all these presidents are nothing but puppets. They're just front faces. They're literally nothing more than I believe his name was Sam Green. It was in the movie Casino. He was just a front man for the mafia controlling the casino, but they put him in the front face so it looked like it was legitimate. Okay, so that's all the elites do today, is they just have a front man, which you would call your president, and they're just being controlled. But let's keep going though. Iran issues warrant for Donald Trump. Let's see, Donald Trump. Let's see what comes up really quick. Yep, look at this. Iran issues a arrest warrant for Trump over drone strike, and I believe they issued this while he was a president. If I'm not mistaken, I could be off by a couple of dates, but either way, he was an ex-president, and you have another country that's prophesied in the scriptures, which also known as Persia, which will be in league and is in league with Russia. They issued an arrest warrant for Trump, and I believe they also signified Babylon as a terrorist group too. Let's see real quick. Let's put that in quick. Iran declares, declares the U.S. as terrorists. Let's see. Something comes up. Iran supports, no. There was something that came up. I'll have to look into it, but you brothers and few sisters, mainly you brothers, if you want to look it up, or if you already have, there was they identified America as terrorists on their on their board, if you will. But let's keep going. All right. And it says, and Joe Biden, every single one of these people have overseen, the wholesale slaughter of over 1 million people. Well, actually, it's more than that, because what they're not talking about is the slaughter, murder, rape, and robbery that they've done since their conception over here on the West, which you could start with 1492, which is even better. Before the West, you had them during the Greeks, all right, during the Hellenization of our people, which is why we have Hanukkah today. And then after that, you had the Romans, which they slaughtered, murdered, raped, and robbed us. And then you have the infamous war of 70 AD, which had started in 66 AD. And that was the slaughtering, murdering, and which ultimately led to the scattering or the prophesied diaspora of the Most High's people. And this is why we are here over in the West today, because of Esau Edom, which is prophecy, but he has played a major part in that. See? It says, has overseen the wholesale slaughter of over 1 million people, nearly half of whom were innocent men, women, and children. This is what they're saying about Babylon. You see, this is what they're telling you about Babylon the Great, the virgin daughter Babylon. And your average Christian won't talk about this. Your average Christian won't mention this. They won't go into the scriptures and show the parallel of the two. They don't do that because they don't have the spirit to do that. All right. This is Jeremiah. Look, Babylon judged for sins against Israel. So while the world is talking about its sins or war crimes, because a crime, the word crime, let's see if they have it correct. The word crime means an infraction of God's laws. So let's see, crime definition. See, I don't like that. It doesn't show that. Let's see, crime, an action, a mission that constitutes an offense persecuted by the state. No, when you go into it, let's put a crime. Let's put crime infraction. Crime infraction. Let's just spell it out. Infraction of God's laws. Okay. In my studies and my research, I have found that. Let's see. It says Christian Harmon theology describes sin as an action of offense against God by despising a person. Yeah, if you also look deeper, the word crime, let's actually see the etymology real quick. Let's just see. Let's put crime in the etymology. Let's see. Oh, but Barakatha Yahweh Shemel Shai. See, you got to go to that origin. You go to that origin. So while they're over here talking about war crimes, right? Crime, i.e. criminal. When you look the origin up of the word crime, it means an infraction of God's laws. So we have to go into this on a biblical aspect because the Bible, all right, oversees all laws and statutes when it comes to true justice. The Bible is the standard, okay, of what you would use when you have an infraction or a wrongdoing. Okay, look at this down here. The sense of any great wickedness or wrongdoing. So the true judgment for when you break a crime has to be according to the scriptures. Okay, it has to be according to the scriptures. So let's keep going. Let's jump down to 7. Okay, and it says Jeremiah 51:7. It says Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. This is why these nations are now speaking out, because it has been a golden cup. Babylon is no longer that great untouchable golden cup. And it says that made all the earth drunken, right? Its philosophies, its ideologies. This is why, okay, Babylon has been able to get away with all this judgment, with all these, each president, how long they get to rule. I believe it's as long as 8 years. Let's look that up. How long? Because that's why they have the Tenure Act, or I believe it's the Johnson Act, which Andrew Johnson was a president after Abraham Lincoln, where he got initiated into the 33 degree in like 3 days by Albert Pike, and he was getting ready to try to take over the world back then. That's why they had to create the Tenure Act, or the Johnson Act, if I'm not mistaken. How long can a U.S. president serve? Let's see. I think it's 8 years. Oh, wow. 10 years. So 10 years. So let's now go back. So each one of these presidents in a full term was 10 years. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, if you will, 50. So this is what's a century? Is that 100 years? Half a century right here of wickedness that they committed. See, each one of these presidents is damn near, they could rule up to a decade, okay, and cause nothing but complete terrorizing on the world. And this is why the world now is standing up, and they're standing up because you are no longer that golden cup to be allowed to do this, to make the nations drunk. You see, the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Now let's real quick look this word mad up. Okay. So when you go into this word mad, looks to shine forth. Let's see, is there etymology? Okay, to be boastful. Okay, boastful ones, forth light, right? The light of Babylon, the glory. Okay, to act madly. All right. Oh, to make a fool of. Right. These nations have been made foolish. Okay, look, to boast glamorously foolish. Okay, so these nations have been brought to a mad, foolish like state, being in league with the whore. Okay, being under the whore's ideology, it has turned these nations upside down and inside out. But now that drunkenness is wearing off. Okay, now the mindset that Babylon has pushed on these people, they're saying, wait a minute, hold on, man, no more, because you're out and this person, you're talking about this person when we know the dirty secrets about you, and even Russia itself, it said that you won't treat us like the Native Americans. Let's see. Russia said you won't treat us like the natives. Let's put Native American. This was a few years ago. This was pretty epic. Let's see. Man, you brothers should know. This was a few years ago. They said it on. They told America. Russia said. Let's see. Russia said to America. Try that. It was on some kind of show. Let me see. Removing the man. No, damn. Well, it's all right. It's all right. But I definitely know. Let's put Putin said. Let's say that. Let's put Putin. Putin said. Putin points history. What's this? Russian President Vladimir Putin said U.S. President Joe Biden's remarks about him reflect the past and current problems of the United States. That's a good one, but it's not specifically talking about what I want. But, what's this one? What's this one? Look at this one. It says Putin offers Biden public talks after U.S. president says he thinks he is a killer. President Vladimir Putin said on Thursday that he and U.S. president should hold a live online talk in coming days. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Let me go down. Let's see. I don't want that. See, you got to look. You got to, add everything up. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of things said, and hope I'm not missing it. But I've definitely, in my own research, have seen these things. Sometimes they may not come up as easily, but you just put the right words in and things will come up. All right. I don't want that. Oh, what's this one? Putin then spoke about U.S. history, talking about what he called the genocide of Gad, Native Americans, slavery, and the ill treatment of Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and the U.S. dropping atomic bombs on Japan at the end of World War II. Look at that. Look what's being said. Shameful spewing upon thy glory, and now double shame on your ass. Okay, excuse my language. All right, and it says, now the nations are mad. Look, I just want to keep reading, but let me jump to Revelations 18 real quick. Okay, let's get into that double talk. All right, that double shame, and that cup is ultimately the destruction. Okay, the missiles, the nuclear missiles. Since you want to drop atomic bombs, it says render unto her double. So what you think these nations going to do? What do you think these nations going to do when the Lord says give her double? Okay, this is Revelations 18:3, going back to the nations. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. This is why now the kings of the earth, the presidents, or ambassadors or ministers or prime ministers, now they have the right to speak because they've been in bed with her. They know her. They know what's under the sheets. They know what's under the covers. This is why it says that Esau is made bare, which we got to get Lord's will, because they know what's going on. So not only are these nations talking about what you've done to them, they're talking about what you've done here, all the way in the West, all right, in this private island that you call North America, because when you look on a map, the general public of the world is in what you call the Middle East. And over here in the West, America is isolated, okay? It is isolated. It's an isolated continent, and it says, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. But now, because of Joel 3, let's grab that real quick. They're saying that they are strong. They're not worried about revenue. They're not worried about giving you Jordans and Nikes and iPods. Indonesia ain't worried about making Adidas's anymore. Joel 3 real quick. And 9, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, the kings of the earth, the other nations, prepare war. wake up the mighty men. This is why they're saying all this. This is why they're talking about what you've done. And look, we're going to go down because it mentions them. Look, if you care about the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we must also care about the U.S. invasions, occupations, and aerial warfare programs carried out in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen, Somalia, Libya, and Pakistan. Do you know when they were talking about Russia invasion Ukraine that America bombed Somalia? So as they're talking, they're doing shit. You see, and let's not forget the landmass of the United States was built off rape, robbery, and murder. Okay, rape, robbery, and murder. And real quick, let's make that quick point. We need that one, but let's make that quick point in what? Habakkuk 2. Okay, Habakkuk 2. So while they're talking about the invasions, you need to talk about the invasion and what created Babylon. Okay, real quick, back to Habakkuk. Okay. So, hey man, this guy, he can't be talking about no one. The beam in his eye is so big that he's blinded, okay, by his pride and violence. Habakkuk 2:12. Woe to him that buildeth the town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. Is not America built off bloodshed and iniquity? So before you talk, okay, about war crime, like Putin said, well, let's talk about the U.S. history and the genocide of the Native Americans and the Latinos and the Mexicans. Remember, California is also referred to as Northern Mexico. Okay, this is why they had the manifest destiny. So you're in no room to talk, Esau. This is an Edomite right here. This is a Duke of Edom. You are in no room to talk. Okay, for your bloodshed, for your iniquity. This is why the war is being prepared. This is why nations are now speaking out against what you have done. All right. And it says, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords. Right. This is why they once were made rich of the delicacies, the merchants of the earth, but now they ain't worried about that because they're like, yo, we're in a spirit of nationalism. Okay. The Lord is putting a spirit, like it says in Isaiah, they shall turn to their own people. He's putting a spirit of nationalism back on the people because when you have war, it's one land against another. It's one people against another. Now, some nations may bring in their slaves, but those slaves still represent that landmass, just like the Roman military put in Jewish slaves. They put, or Jew slaves. Google says Jewish, but they put in Israelites in their bands and their legions. This is why you had what? Cornelius. Okay. So even like Babylon, you have Israelites in their army, but that army, whether or not they're of another nation, that army ultimately represents the nation of America. Okay, so you have a spirit of nationalism rising up where Chinese is forming, with the Russians, and the Russians are forming with the Cambodians and the Venezuelans. See, this is a national world war that is brewing. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, because before those plowshares made you rich as a merchant. Okay, going back. All right. And it says, and your pruning hooks and the spears, let the weak say, I am strong. And that's what they're saying. They're saying they're strong because they're now the nations that were once beaten and pummeled and downtrodden by this beast system of Babylon. Now they're saying, yo, look what you did to us in Iraq. Look what you did to us in Afghanistan. Look what you did to us in Syria. Look what you in Syria. Look what you did to us in Yemen, and so on and so on. And then on top of that, they're also added in what you've done in your own landmass. You see, woe unto him that builds a town with bloodshed and iniquity. Woe unto him that doesn't address the beam in his eye, but he wants to talk about the mote of the people. That's all Babylon's ever done, is talk about the mote of everyone else. But let's talk about the beam in your eye. Let's talk about the slavery in your eye. Let's talk about what you have done. Okay, real quick. Let's finish this. Revelations 18 and 6, it says, reward her even as she has rewarded you. Now, how did we get rewarded by Babylon? Slavery. Let's get it. Exodus. There's a law on that. There's a law on when you steal people. You stole people. You steal people. You are one of the biggest human traffickers known to man. Okay. America needs to be talked about. The wicked crimes and infraction of God's laws that America commits every day needs to be addressed, and it will be addressed, and to a level to where it won't be through the ICC. It won't be through the international courts. It's going to be through the universal court of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right. This is Exodus 21 and 16. It says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall be surely put to death. So when war breaks out, invasion takes place, Russia comes here, guess who they're going to find? Prisoners of war, the Native Americans, the Latino Americans, the African Americans. You see, the prisoners of war, all right, are going to be found in Esau's hands. When Yahweh Shai comes, who's going to be found in Esau's hands while he's pointing the finger? He's going to be pointing the finger, right, with his finger pointing out, and he's going to have us with the other three fingers pointing back at him, but he's going to be holding us within that. You see, we are stolen. You talk about all these terrorists and all these other people, but you got the Lord's people tucked under your foot, okay? You got the Lord's people tucked under your foot, and it reminds me of this picture right here. This is what it reminds me. This is a representation, white man. All right. Let's see. Let's see if it comes up. Might have to go to Google. You know, Bing has been letting me down. That's why I just stick with Google. All right, let's go to Google. Let's find that epic picture. Okay, I can see it in my mind, and I'm sure you brothers know what I'm talking about. White man standing on black child. This is what Esau, okay, is representation of us. That's funny. I think he had gout and he was standing. Isn't that funny? You can't white man with gout. Let's put. They're not even gonna show me it. And that's something. Let's put white man. I know y'all brothers know what I'm talking about. White man sitting. Let's put a white man's feet on black child. This is your history. Why is it so hard to look up what's in history? You see? Why is it so hard to look up what's in history? Let's put in slavery. Man, why does he make it so hard for me to find these pictures? There it is. The Wadi Abashim Shai. Look how hard it was for me to find this. See that? This is Esau and this is Israel. Okay? Look at Judah, man. This is it. Okay? You see? Sitting there in rulership, sipping. Oh, look at that cup. But the Lord, that cup about to be on you, man. Let's go back to our points. I reward her. We didn't get that one. Okay. Did we get this one? What is this? Ezekiel? No, we don't want this. I'm pulling a lot out right now, but it's okay. All right. We got that 16, right? Now let's get that. The double though. Let's get the double. Okay. Let's keep in the spirit of double. All right. This whole lesson is about him paying double. So you stole us, right? You will be found in your hand, right? Well, guess what? There's a law. What happens when what you stole is found in your hand? Guess what the penalty is? You got to pay back double. Exodus 22 and 4. If the theft, right? We've been stolen. Theft be certainly found in his hand alive. Found alive. Are we not going to be found in his hand alive? No, some of us, all right? Found alive. Where are we at? Whether it be ox or ass or sheep, are we not the children of Israel, the lost sheep? He shall restore double. So you got to pay back double. You have to pay back double. Going back to Exodus or Revelation 18:6, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to the works in the cup which she had filled to her double. See, so you got to answer for what you've done to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai's people double. So the mere fact that you have articles coming out of what you've done to not the Lord's people, how much more judgment are you going to receive for what you've done to the Lord's people? So right now, the Most High is raising up these Gentiles, these nations, to get ready for war for what you've done to them. So what you think is going to happen for what you've done to us? You see, double. Okay, and let's grab that real quick in Jeremiah. All right, let's grab that real quick in Jeremiah. We made our initial points. So now from there, let's get Jeremiah 49, because we drank that cup. So you mean to tell me you ain't going to drink that cup? You ain't going to drink of that cup? If you got heathen nations saying what you've done to them, how much more the Lord's people? And the Lord's prophets are Israelites, and they prophesize the judgment what you've done to the Lord's people. Man, you got a lot to answer for. This proves, and it says they shall be round about her. You got everyone circling you now. Okay, while you're circling the drain, everyone is standing around you. This is Jeremiah 49:12. It says, "For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have surely drunken it." We drunk that cup, man. Okay, we surely have drank that cup, and we're the chosen people. We are the chosen people that are predestinated to rule for eternity, and we drank that cup of judgment and slavery and hardship. And you, the elder shall serve the younger. You think that you ain't gonna drink that cup? You think you just gonna sit there and stand on the Most High's people and get drunk off your little bullshit whiskey? And you ain't gonna be judged? If you got heathen nations standing up and talking about what you've done, what you think gonna happen to you for what you've done to us? There's major prophecy in the good book, okay? The good book that speaks about the justice that's coming for the crimes that you've committed, okay? The crimes that you've committed. And it says, art thou he that shall not altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. So very spiritual. You're sitting here on the Lord's people drinking, okay? But you ain't got no problem drinking that cup. Well, get ready to drink the Lord's cup. Get ready to have a double. Okay, what my man say? One bourbon, one Jack, and one beer. All right, George Thorogood. You gonna drink, man? You gonna drink of this cup? If you got nations rising up right now talking, how much more? Look, and who's it talking about? For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be a perpetual waste. So you're going to drink double of the Lord's cup. All right. Let's see if there's any little bit more meat. It says, if we are concerned about the 4 million displaced refugees from Ukraine, certainly we must be concerned with the 39 to 59 million refugees created by the U.S. foreign policy in post 9/11. But if they're just talking about the millions of heathens, what about the hundreds of million Israelites that they've killed? Murdered. Okay. It says invasions and occupations of Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, the Philippines, Libya, and Syria. So if we're talking about the heathens, this is why we need to speak about what you've done to the children of Israel. If you want to keep speaking about children and the genocide, if the West demands Hungary be ejected from the EU for having diplomatic relations with Russia during the invasion, then we must also be concerned with the support, logistics, and weapons given to Saudi Arabia as they lay waste to Yemen with U.S. bombs, killing thousands of innocent children and displacing millions more. Not to mention the U.S. sanctions on Yemen are facilitating a mass genocide, starving hundreds and thousands of civilians, mostly children, to death. So what about what you've done here? What about what you've done here, man? What about, let's see, how many Native American, oh, look at this, let's see. And they better not give us a bullshit. Oh, almost 100 million and counting. Almost 100 million and counting Gadites, Reubenites, who else? Issacharites, Naphtalites, you know what I mean? Ephraimites, Simeonites, 100 million and counting. If you're talking about modern day refugees, all right, what about the hundreds of millions of Israelites you've killed, murdered to establish what you call America today? You see? So double shame is upon you. You cannot talk about the war crimes that you've done in the world without talking about the war crimes that you've committed here first. Okay? The war crimes that you've committed here first. This is why all you nations are going to be judged, all right? Because yes, they should be in the spirit to rebuke Babylon for what they've done to your nations. But what you need to be talking about first is what they've done to the nation of Israel. This is why all nations are going to drink of that cup, man. Okay, all nations, because all you nations that are, this and that, hey, you all have committed war crimes on the nation of Israel. This is Jeremiah 25:15. For thus saith the Lord, power of Israel, unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it. See, this is nothing more than a strategic war move that Yahweh Bashem El Shai, the God of war, is doing. Right now, he's raising up the nations to be mad and pissed off for what you've done to them. But really what this is doing is bringing all nations into the third war, when Yahweh Shai shall return to destroy all nations. Now, all nations ultimately won't be destroyed, but they will lose in the third war. No nation will become victor in the third war, except the nation of Israel, starting with Yahweh Shai, King David, and the thousands of armies of heaven. Okay, so all nations ultimately are going to drink of this cup, you see? And it says, and they shall drink and be moved and be mad because of the sword that I will send among them. So great swords are going to be sent of destruction, military weapons, militarized swords will be sent among them, ICBM missiles, nuclear atomic missiles. Okay, then took I the cup of the Lord's hand and made all the nations to drink unto whom the Lord has sent me. So all nations are going to drink of this cup, because what nation has not partook in the judgment of Israel? I believe it literally says it that. Let's see. I think it's in Daniel. What nation has not partake? Let's see if I could find it. I gotta word this correctly. Israel. But I don't believe destruction is in it. But let's see, KJV. If any brothers know what I'm talking about, you want to grab it. No, that's not the one I want. Yep, right here. First Maccabees. Here we go. The Wadi Yahweh Shemel Shai. It says, let me go here. Let's go here. Where is it? Well, I'll read. It says, what nation has not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? See, what nation, what nation? Okay, what nation has not? You see, all these nations have. All these nations have partook. Okay, and let's put the KJVA. Okay, so it's still pulling this one up. I know it's not in the first, but I know it's in there. But we're paraphrasing it, but it's right here. I haven't brought this one out in a while, but it just came to mind, so I just Googled it. But like it says, what nation has not had a part in her kingdom and have gotten of her spoils? Actually, let's put that right in, because I want that literal precept. Okay, let's go here. Just getting what the Spirit is giving me. Okay, 2 and 10. The Wadi Abba Shemel Shai. First Maccabees 2 and 10. What nation has not had a part in her kingdom and have gotten of her spoils? This is why it says all nations. All nations. Okay, this is why all nations. Jumping down real quick. 19. Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and his servants and his princes and all his people and all the mingled people and mixed. What's that? Arab. All right, mixed people and all the people. All the mingled people and all the kings of the land of Uz and all the kings of the land of the Philistines and Ashkelon and Azariah and Ekron and the remnant of Ashdod, Edom and Moab and the children of Ammon and all the kings of Tyrus and all the kings of Zidon and the kings of the isles which are beyond the sea, Dedan and Teman and Booz and all that are in the utmost corners, and all the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert, and all the kings of Samaria, and all the kings of Elam, and all the king of the Medes, all these they all about to get judged, man. All these nations, and all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the world, which are upon the face of the earth, and all the kingdoms Shishak shall drink after them. Therefore thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, drink ye and be drunken, and spew and fall, and rise no more, because of the sword which I shall send among you. And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thy hand to drink, right? That's Deuteronomy 20, because there's a law that when we take over a city, we first ask them, will you come out peacefully? And if they say, yeah, then you spare certain ones. But if they don't accept it, if they refuse our offering to overtake them, then we slay everything. See, that's later in our law. Read Deuteronomy the 20th chapter, and it says, refuse to take the cup at thy hand to drink, then shalt thou say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, ye shall surely drink, for lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name, and should ye be utterly unpunished? Right, if I'm bringing evil on my own, what you think gonna happen to you? And it says, for I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, saith the Lord of hosts. Therefore prophesy thou against them in all these words, and say unto them, the Lord shall roar from on high, and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation. He shall give a shout as they that tread the grapes against all the inhabitants of the earth. A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth, the nukes. For the Lord has a controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coast of the earth, and the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground. Great, mighty, holy retribution judgment is coming upon this world and these nations for what they have done. So if the Lord is raising a spirit on these people to talk about America and the beam that's in its eyes, then it's only right through the spirit that the Lord is pouring the spirit upon his prophets to first talk about what you've done to the Lord's people. And on top of that, what you nations also have done as well. So if you have no problem talking about what he's done to you, then you should have no problem with the prophets talking about what y'all have done to us in its entirety. So the Lord's cup is getting ready to befall you. Y'all are getting ready to drink a mighty cup of judgment. The Lord's cup is getting ready to be turned upon you, and we are in the year of the turn up. Okay, so the cup is about to be turned up onto you. Great judgment is coming. Great judgment is coming. The brother posted a precept. Let me grab that really quick. All right, and I'll grab this and one more, and that's going to be the lesson. I didn't want to make it too long, but I'm just getting what the Spirit is giving me. This is Judah 16 and 17. Woe to the nations that rise up against my kindred. The Lord Almighty will take vengeance on them in the day of judgment, and putting fire and worms in their flesh, and they shall feel them and weep forever. Woo! Beautiful scripture, brother, through the Spirit. Beautiful precept. Beautiful. And I got one to add to that, and that will be this lesson. Call law Yahweh Shemel Shai, man. Great judgment is coming. You can do nothing against the truth before the truth. No matter what these people do, no matter what they say, okay, it's all gearing back towards judgment. Psalms 75. I think I already clicked it, but I'm just grabbing it again. Psalm 75 and 8. It says, for in the hand of Yahweh Shemel Shai there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them. But I will declare forever, I will sing praises to the God of Jacob. All the horns of the wicked also will I cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted. And that is the small remnant, that is the elect. So, amen. Call all Yahweh Shemel Shai. We are truly at the end. All right, we are truly at the end. All right, we are witnessing nothing but judgment. Barak Yahweh Shemel Shai. We need to continue to remain steadfast and unmovable and have the faith, repent, call upon Yahweh Shemel Shai while he is near, and continue to pray to the Lord to bring judgment upon this wicked place, Babylon. So it's beautiful to see the Lord is raising up the spirit on these other nations, okay, to speak about the wickedness that the prophets have been speaking about, since the conception, okay. And since the Lord has raised up prophets in Babylon, this is all that's been being talked about. So what a beautiful time to be alive. I'd like to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash, double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone that do rule well. I pray that you brothers and few sincere sisters, you are edified and exhorted. Tonight is at sundown will be the Sabbath. So a Shalom Shabbat early unto you. And with that being said, Shalom.